Hello, everyone. Welcome to this live session. So, guys, we all know that there've been this, explosive headline about the Minister for Humanitarian Affairs. But I tell you, it is like spreading across the APC people. So, what the person here on my screen is the Minister for Interior Affairs, and I think he received some payment. Let me say, allegedly received some payment from the Edu scandal. And honestly, Nigerians are now calling for his resignation. Even the president has summoned him. I mean, the person of Tinubu has summoned him. And we all know that Betta Edu was denied access to the president. So you can see that, honestly, the APC didn't see this coming. They thought they are just playing with normal Nigerians. Obedience, they are determined. Go to the social media and see that Nigerian youths are not resting. They've been retweeting, tweeting, retweeting. So APC didn't really find it easy this time. And I believe that was what led to the president asking Edu to stay aside so that investigation will begin. So at the moment, she's no longer the Minister for Humanitarian Affairs. And like I've just said, that the fire is widening, as in it's widening. Like you can see that even the Minister for Interior Affairs has equally been named in this scandal. So let's just take this video and we'll come back to talk more.
Who on Monday was denied access to see suspension of Dr. Betta Edu, embattled Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, who on Monday was denied access to see President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the State House in Abuja. Betta Edu arrived at the presidential villa shortly after her suspension was announced by the presidency. She had passed all security checks, but was blocked from entering the president's office. The suspended minister was subsequently escorted out of the presidential villa by protocol officials and her access tag reportedly withdrawn by the president's security team. The president directed the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to conduct a thorough investigation into all aspects of the financial transaction involving the humanitarian ministry. We can't take a tweet, but, I didn't think that this was called for, the way that she was, escorted out of that presidential villa. We did see that video. I believe earlier I heard you say that even though that the EFCC is investigating this issue, I think that they should take care in treating people with respect and dignity, because also the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on Monday had detained the former Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, for questioning over allegations of corruption in the handling of 37.1 billion social intervention funds during her tenure. The former minister, in a post on X, confirmed her arrival, stating, "I have, at my behest, arrived at the headquarters of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to honor the invitation by the anti-graft agency to offer clarification in respect of some issues that the commission is investigating. We'll call on that commission to ensure that they investigate this in accordance to the rule of law and not detain them or not harass them, the way they have even done with Emefiele, who actually was granted 100 million naira for the way that they treated him. But, in the meantime, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu also on Monday dismissed the Chief Executive Officer of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, Babatunde Irukera, and Director General, CEO, Bureau of Public Enterprises, Alex Ayola Oko. Irukera's removal has generated a lot of reactions, as during his tenure, he achieved impressive feats, the most recent being the $110 million fine imposed on British American Tobacco Nigeria for breaching competition laws. The FCCPC had, after an investigation which started in 2020, revealed that BAT Nigeria and its affiliates had engaged in certain anti-competitive conduct and violations of tobacco controls and public health measures. Well, Babatunde Rukara took to social media yesterday, and this was his post. He wrote, "Grateful for the opportunity to have served the incredibly vibrant and loyal Nigerian citizens and consumers. They deserve a better deal. I leave behind a strong institutional advocate in the FCCPC and an outstanding team of soldiers who work there daily for the cause of fair markets." I wonder who would replace Rukera at this point, because you know he actually did very well. A lot of people have talked about his removal and are questioning why, and we also need to know why he was removed. We'll take our final story.
So guys, honestly, this corruption of a thing is like, this is why some of these politicians are desperate, during election. They don't care about the masses. They don't. You can see that this government is just 7 or 8 months old. They are not even, it's not even up to 1 year old. And you can imagine the level of looting. I mean, the level of looting that is going on. This is just the one that Nigerians ended up uncovering. What about the ones we don't know about? This humanitarian ministry is a ministry that was created to help alleviate the sufferings of Nigerians. But at the end of the day, it's now a vehicle, that helps in a kind of enhancing corruption in Nigeria. People use this opportunity. See, normally, a public servant is not supposed to use any private account. But you could see that is what they started doing. The other woman that was initially suspended, she said why she even sent money to a private account was because she didn't want Edu, who is the head of that ministry, to access the funds. So she ended up sending those funds to so many private accounts. Now the EFCC has taken over those money. They've tried to block those accounts across different banks. I mean, they will just use different accounts, private accounts in different banks to transfer these monies in billions, not even in millions, in billions. Nigerians, these were monies that were borrowed. It's not as if, we are using almost 100% of our revenue in servicing debt. I mean, it is getting critical. And from the look of things, from what people are saying, especially the economists, they are saying next year, 2025, we may end up borrowing to service our debt because it's getting tough at the moment. We don't have money. This money you see them playing with are monies that were borrowed. They were borrowed. And look at how they are playing with it. Billions of naira being sent to different accounts. And they tell us we have a government. We don't have a government, honestly. These are people who just see all this governance of a thing as a means of transaction. Peter, we call them transactional leaders. That is what has kept Nigeria where it is today. If we had had people who are passionate, look at these billions of naira they are even transferring. It's enough to build a world-class hospital in Nigeria, which we don't have. It's enough to take care of the demands of ASU that do keep our students home for months, for years. You are meant to read a 3-year or 4-year or 5-year course. You'll be in the university 8 years, you've not graduated. Your mates that traveled abroad, they've graduated, they've come home, they've done their youth service, they are working, you are still in school. And these people just came in within the space of few months. We are talking of billions of naira, not even 10 billions or 20 billions. I mean, real billions. And we have out of school children across the nation. We have school fees of Nigerian students in the universities, being increased by 100%. These people, they don't even have empathy for the people. They don't. And that is why we keep saying, do we even have leadership in Nigeria? Do we have people who are real leaders in Nigeria?
You literally took the answer I was going to give, the question you were going to ask out of my mouth. I think it's inappropriate to even talk about 2027. We're talking about governing. We're talking about a working democracy. Nigeria is not a working democracy. And part of the effort of building a strong and viable political party is to make our democracy work first and foremost before people begin to think about another election. The problem with Nigeria is that we've thought in terms of elections. You go through a mess that is called an election and say, okay, let's wait for the next one. No, that's not how countries grow and develop. Countries grow and develop, first of all, by founding political parties. I can say without any feeling of wrong that we don't have a political party in Nigeria today. What we have managed to couple together since 1999 have been platforms for machine politics, where the game is about just grabbing power, rightly or wrongly, and sharing spoils. As a friend of mine, an American political scientist who's in the middle.
So you've heard what Mr. Pat Otom just said, Professor Pat Otom just said. Honestly, the kind of leaders that we have today in Nigeria are just people who are desperate to be in positions they know they don't have anything to offer. You can imagine, look at where Nigeria is today. And they told us they were going to hit the ground running. They were going to hit the ground running, and Nigeria is sinking. Go and see what is happening in terms of insecurity. You know, since we started talking about this Edu issue, it has now overtaken the security topic that was all over the places. And I tell you, these guys in the bush, they understand what is happening. They've taken advantage because there is a shift from the real thing when it comes to this security. Go and see what is happening in Abuja. I mean, yesterday, today, go and see how many people have been kidnapped. Along Abuja Kaduna Expressway, go and see what is happening there. And also in different parts of Nigeria. They've seen that the attention of the public has shifted, you know, to this scandal about this lady. And now those bad guys, they are all over the places, destroying Nigeria and just doing whatever they want to do because they know we don't even have a leadership in place because nobody is speaking, nobody is talking. Nothing is happening in Nigeria. And that is why this country, we just keep wondering, when are we going to be free from this kind of slavery that, let me say, INEC, together with the judiciary, has put Nigeria into? Because with the kind of system we have today, Nigeria will hardly get it well, as in Nigeria will hardly get it right. Look at this Wike's man. He said something, you know, during a rally against Wike. He said they were the ones that wrote the result. You know, you can imagine a situation where somebody has that boldness to say, we wrote the result. Wike knows we wrote the result. I was supposed to share with you guys an image of him, but I don't think I captured that image. I mean, somebody who is now supporting Fubara came out to say that they wrote the result in the state. They are now opening up. They are now opening up. They are now speaking out truth to power because they know that Wike is no longer with them. That is what we have today in Nigeria. And now they are talking about 2027. I saw on Twitter today where they were saying, oh, they are about to form a coalition. They put Peter Obi's picture, the Atiku, Kwankwaso, and even the sitting president's picture. I don't know why that picture, the four of them were there, but the headline is from a reputable site. It's not as if somebody just came up with it, that there is a making of, you know, forming a coalition ahead of 2027. And this is where we are, Nigerians. This is where we are. The money these people are borrowing, I tell you, generations unborn are going to pay the money because this current generation is not even going to be able to pay all this money. And these people will pay it, will get it. They see it as an opportunity. They see it. Look at this beautiful lady who is so vibrant. Although she belongs to the APC, she's a member of APC. But when you see people like this in leadership position, if she had stood out and a kind of encourage other women that being in politics, you mustn't soil yourself. You can imagine that you know, in the recent future, Nigerians will begin to celebrate her. But look at, not even up to a year. And the funniest part is, you've seen the video where she was saying that all the money is going to go from central bank to the accounts of the beneficiaries. And at the end of the day, what happened? They now moved some of this money to private accounts. Anyway, she's still being investigated. I just pray. And you've seen how she was ridiculed when she went to see the president. She was denied access, and the tag on her was taken away from her that, oh, woman, you don't have any right again to see. You can imagine. Use and dump. That is just her current state. I mean, use and dump. We saw her role during the campaign. But look at where she is today. We are yet to see many other people, you know, being fingered. You can see the man who is also by him. Honestly, this guy was on Channels Television yesterday where he unveiled the new method to go for your passport. The Nigerian passport, you can easily, you know, from your house, you apply, and then in 2 weeks' time, you receive it. That's what he unveiled yesterday on Channels Television. And I saw it, as a very smart idea. He also promised those in the diaspora that by next month, it will also be possible for those in the diaspora to be able to apply for their passport, their Nigerian passport, from the comfort of your home. And that was welcome. But you could see that he is being fingered in this allegation. He's being fingered because it is being said that he received some money from this Edu Betta. Honestly, Nigerians, we have a lot of money being wasted. So much leakages. I mean, so much leakages. So when people come into office, you just start looting as fast as you can because you never can tell what will happen. Don't forget, after the Supreme Court gave their ruling on this election petition, the president, in the person of Tinubu, told those his cabinet members that he was like trying to congratulate them that their job is secure, that they shouldn't panic because the Supreme Court has ruled. Possibly they were having that tension. Why? Because it's not as if they were desperate to serve Nigerians, but their fear was, are we going to be able to get what we are here for? The money. That is where we are. We don't have leaders who want to see Nigeria transform. We have people who just want to get into power, grab it, snatch it, and make your own money. You know, that is what we have today in Nigeria. So also there is a shift from the security state in Nigeria. And I think that that is also very worrisome. Let's take this video, then we'll come back to other things.
It's the inability of the security arrangement that has been put in place to identify, prevent, and then to penalize those offenders. In simple criminology, where offenses occur in the manner that they are occurring, and then there is no adequate or commensurate measures to arrest or identify first, arrest, and then penalize them, the likelihood is that they are going to continue. And I would like to extend this conversation to the earlier conversation you had regarding corruption and then the action by the president to suspend a minister. I'm very worried about where we are in Nigeria, as it were. Are we prioritizing money over human lives? Your reporter alluded to the fact that at least about 300 Nigerians may have been abducted within the FCT in 2023, and about depending on what database you use, between 60 and 80 may have been abducted. And as far as I know, Ngozi or Suleiman, you correct me, not a single person has been held accountable for that. Your report talked about the Plateau State, where about 200 persons were killed till date. Not a single person has been held accountable. Are we prioritizing money over human lives? If we can pressure the government, as it were, to take action on a minister because of a suspected misappropriation, why are we not pressuring government to take action over this? Everybody that I have spoken to, I mean, I'm removing myself, I'm an expert, but even the average layman on the street will agree to the fact that security is deteriorating in the country. So why are we not seeing commensurate action being taken by the government in the manner that was taken for money that was misappropriated? In simple terms, that's the reason why security is deteriorating in the country. No accountability within the security sector.
So guys, honestly, this is really not really good for us as a country. The way people are being kidnapped in Nigeria is really worrisome. And nobody is even doing anything. Nobody is being held responsible. I don't know if you saw a picture of a guy whose head was taken off by these guys when they came to Plateau State. I mean, he was buried headless. A young guy. He had 3 kids and his wife too were all left behind. You need to see the level of destructions caused by these people in Plateau State. Until today, the security agents are just quiet. Nothing is happening. Nobody is being held responsible. Nobody is being arrested. Nobody is being questioned. Look at, most times I keep making reference to Israel. Israel, when they went to Gaza, they were able to get some of these Hamas guys and they got them to testify. They got information from them. And with those information, they were making more progress in terms of dismantling Hamas. Why is it that our security agents are not even adopting this system of getting some of these people, asking them why are they desperate to take over people's land, to come out and begin to just take away people's lives? Where are we heading to Nigeria? And the most, the most painful aspect is as if we don't even have a government. It's as if it's as if the president traveled. We don't have a president on ground. We saw all these things during the time of Buhari, and people were like, oh, Buhari is not the talking type. Buhari does not have that strength to talk, to engage with Nigerians. The same thing is happening under this APC-led government. Look at what is happening across Nigeria. And this man is like airing his own concern. Why is it that, when this issue of corruption, diversion of funds came up, Nigerians took it very seriously until this, the minister is now suspended. We all know that she has been suspended. He said Nigerians kept pressing until this lady was suspended. Why is it that during the insecurity that we saw in Plateau State and the ongoing ones that we are seeing across the nation, nobody is raising that level of alarm, for the government to even take action? It's as if the lives of people does not matter again in Nigeria. And it's really, really so worrisome looking at what is happening. Honestly, we don't even know how Nigerians are going to be surviving. I discussed with somebody today, the person was like, in Nigeria, you don't even know your tomorrow. If you go out, you come in, you should be grateful to God. That's the kind of nation we are building. And we say we are looking for investors. They've mapped out huge amounts of naira, in dollars even, to be traveling and going to look for investors. But look at simple things that we are supposed to be doing back home. We can't do them. Nobody wants to go hard on the Fulanis because they are afraid 2027, it might boomerang, Should they go, even Buhari himself, before he became president, he was a sympathizer of the Boko Haram people. He said anybody that goes after the Boko Haram people is going after the Northerners. And today, look at where Boko Haram, it has now, even from Boko Haram, it has graduated now to banditry. They give it all kinds of names, and Nigerians are the ones suffering. We don't even know what to say about this APC-led government, because they are not after the progress of the Nigerian people. They don't even know what to do in terms of managing the situation on ground. Things are going out of hand, Nigerians. Things are not working in this country, and we don't know. We don't know where we are heading to. Anyway, we just look forward to a new Nigeria. Like we've all said that we want that new Nigeria to happen, and let it happen soon. So back to some of the headlines that we have. Like I've just told you guys that this Minister for Interior Affairs has been summoned by the president. We just hope that he himself too will have to bear the consequences of his action, should it be that he really collected any money from the humanitarian affairs minister, because he's being fingered in all this. We just hope that he's not involved, but if he's involved, possibly he's also going to have himself suspended. So this is it. So many people are calling for him to resign. Let's watch and see how this government is going to handle this issue. You see, Betta Edu, Tinubu allegedly summons Interior Minister Tunji Ojo. That is what I'm just saying. So he's been summoned. Let's see how it's going to go. So this group is also saying that he should honorably resign over this alleged corruption. It's as if these are young people. I don't even know why they are being the ones fingered. You know, we always say we want young people in government, and these are fresh faces. You can imagine. Edu is a fresh face. We know she served at state level in her state, but now this is the first time she's, you know, appearing on the federal level, or, you know, or federal stage as part of this government. But you can see in just few months, and this guy too, I've not seen him in politics before. This is the first time I'm seeing his face, only for him to be named in this dirty game. Let's see how this government is going to be handling all this. But for me, I think it's also not good for young people who are aspiring to come into politics and all that. We believe that when we have these young people, they should show an example and tell these old politicians that young Nigerians are ready to take over. But, you know, sometimes I just keep saying that it appears APC has this, I don't know, each time you just join this party, that spirit of corruption just, you know, takes over the person. You start doing things without looking at the consequences. So somebody tweeted, you know, attaching this post about Buhari. Look at, let me just share with you guys this. Buhari slashes minister's foreign trip. That was in, I think, 2019. And then another one again, okay, 2019, yeah, Buhari slashes travel costs for ministers. You can see it, trying to curb leakages. And then now we also have this current administration giving us the same headline that they are slashing out the cost of governance. I was thinking I captured the one that came with the current president's picture, that they said they are slashing the cost of governance in terms of curbing the number of people that accompany him during a trip. And someone is asking, how many times are we going to be seeing all these kind of headlines? And this is coming from the TUC. They are saying federal government has stopped paying this 35 minimum wage that they promised. Just after 1 year, Nigeria is broke already. We don't even have the money. So we are going to be seeing a lot of things. Nigerians, how much is 35,000 naira that can't even afford a bag of rice? You know, this government promised to be paid. They've just paid for 1 month. 1 month, and they can't continue anymore. And you see this looting we are talking about, this corruption is in billions, not millions, in billions. And before you know it, it will be heading to trillions, because by the time you aggregate all this money, you know, by all these politicians into private accounts, will be heading to trillion, while Nigeria cannot even take care of itself. Like I've told you guys, that even servicing our debt is becoming challenging at the moment. And we see them playing with borrowed funds. These are monies that were borrowed. It's not as if we got it anywhere. You see, this current administration is not a kind of creative. Nothing is happening. They are not thinking on how do we make Nigerians become productive. Like Peter Obi said, it's moving Nigeria from consumption to production. How do we engage the youth? How do we ensure everybody has something doing? No, nobody is talking about that. They are rather diverting the funds, the money they borrowed, to private accounts. And I just wonder when this country will get things right. So MFLA has been awarded 100 million naira, you know, by the courts for damages caused by some of these bodies. You can see the federal government is there, DSS is there, I don't know if this one was supposed to be EFCC, but the person wrote here EFVC, I don't know, and all that. So you can see MFLA wins fundamental human rights case against DSS, AGF, and EFCC. So you can see this coming from the a federal high court in Abuja. And I tell you, the way MFLA was handled, even if he was corrupt, or if he's corrupt, or if he did some shady things, it's just that, and we don't even try to be professional in the way we do things. We saw the prison head fighting with the DSS. I mean, the DSS came, fighting with the man from the correctional service. They were trying to a kind of who is going to take MFLA into their own custody. And at the end of the day, they were just disgracing Nigeria as a country. So the way they handle people is also concerning. Even the EFCC, we know how EFCC, dashes into people's houses. But you see all these politicians, they will commit and nobody will go after them. Okay, this is even the woman that started all this scandal, This is her. It has been confirmed that 37 billion naira, you see it, so far has been traced and blocked in 6 different banks in the name of, that's her name, Halima Shehu. So Nigerians, corruption is everywhere. These are the ones we know. We are just praying that in the coming days, more are going to be unfolding, because these people, they don't have any idea. None of them can sit down, think on how to move Nigeria forward. Everybody is there to grab, try and grab. That is just what they are doing there. And I don't think this is good for the nation. So let me just play this video and we call it a day.
The Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs was established in August 2019, following an executive pronouncement by former President Muhammadu Buhari. Few days later, Sadiya Umar Farouk, a politician from Zamfara State who had worked with Buhari during his days as the now-defunct Congress for Progressive Change, the CPC political party, was appointed as a pioneer minister. Soon after her appointment, a slew of questionable expenditures began. One of the most controversial was a 523.3 million naira spent on feeding basic school pupils at a time schools were not in session because of the COVID-19 lockdown. The ministry had become one of the most well-funded due to the many humanitarian and disaster crises, both natural and man-made, which the country was confronted with. Over 300 billion naira had been appropriated for the ministry since its establishment, aside statutory funding given to the National Social Investment Program Agency. Recent revelation, culminating in the ongoing investigations by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, have shown that much of the funds were not transparently managed. It began with the suspension of the CEO of the National Social Investment Program Agency, NSIPA, Halima Shehu, last Tuesday. Shehu had also served as the National Program Coordinator of the National Conditional Cash Transfer Office under the Buhari administration. She was suspended for allegedly transferring about 44 billion naira from the NSIPA's account to private and corporate accounts, as currently being interrogated by the EFCC over the matter. Following her suspension was the invitation of the former minister, Sadiya Umar Farouk, under whose tenure the ministry received a budget sum of 312 billion naira, which was said to have been spent on poverty alleviation and disaster relief programs. He is said to have reported to the EFCC interrogators after initially seeking a postponement of her invitation date. The petition against her involved money laundering amounting to 37 billion naira. Reports indicate that the monies meant for vulnerable persons were routed through consultants and not directly to the beneficiaries, even though a financial register of vulnerable persons was in the possession of the ministry. It was for this reason that the state governors protested, demanding that intervention funds be handled directly by the state and not through the humanitarian ministry. Just when that was ongoing, a fresh scandal involving the current Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Betta Edu, broke. This involved a linked memo titled Mandate for Payment, which Edu sent to the office of the Accountant General of the Federation, seeking the transfer of the sum of 585,189,500 naira for payment for programs and activities of the Renewed Hope Grant for vulnerable groups. The infringement in the request was that the beneficiary's account name, which the minister asked the payment to be made, was a private individual account of one Onyeola Bridgets, domiciled in UBA. Additionally, the over 500 million naira, according to Edu, was a grant for vulnerable persons, but did not contain any traceable list of who the vulnerable persons were. Shortly after was another linked memo, dated November 6, 2023, where Betta Edu approved funds totaling 72,374,500 million naira for flight tickets and airport taxis for staff of the ministry to go to Kogi State, which has no known airports. Bombarded by public demand for accountability, President Bola Tinubu on Sunday, through his information minister, announced his approval of an investigation into the matter. A day later, the president ordered the minister to step aside for a full-scale investigation. The president's action has been commended, coming after similar allegations against persons in the previous administration were either ignored or swept aside.
The diversion of money, well, is a very bad thing to do by the minister who has just been appointed. And if eventually investigation is being concluded and we find out it is true, well, the president has taken the right direction and the right step, suspending while investigation is still on, which is a very good thing to do.
The Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs has messed up. They need sanity in that ministry, and the ministry is young. So as a result of that, for the record to be set straight, the suspension of the Betta Edu is a good thing.
The president may have laid down a marker that will respond swiftly to public demands for transparent investigation of corruption, but the outcome of the ongoing investigations will determine how much trust Nigerians will have on issues of accountability from the administration. Binta Bukar, AIT News, Abuja.
So, guys, the question every Nigerian should be asking is, why is this government not blocking these leakages? I've once said on this program that we have Nigerians who are into tech, they can handle these things within the space of, just give them days. They can set up a system that manages everything we do in Nigeria. You can hardly divert public funds. It's only in Nigeria they use hand to write some sensitive and important things. Last time we saw one of them that came on the Senate floor telling us that termites ate a section of the receipt, during an investigative session, that termites ate some of the section of the receipts when they were being asked about a particular missing amount of money, termites, Nigerians. Tell me why that receipt was not captured digitally. Tell me why. And till today, nobody is even conversing on that. These are some of the things we should start talking, We are not supposed to be using hand to be writing some of these things. That's why we have leakages everywhere. We have even civil servants that have died years. Their monies are being paid into some people's accounts. People are benefiting from them. You see an individual receiving salaries of almost 10 persons. And you tell me Nigeria will not keep borrowing. It's going to be difficult. So we expected this government, after Buhari's government was tagged to be the most corrupt government Nigeria has ever witnessed. We're expecting this government to have taken a very different approach, especially in blocking these leakages. Because when you keep borrowing and the leakages are still there, you will not make any important effect. There won't be any impact of the money you borrow because there are a lot of leakages. That is just what is happening in Nigeria. And we don't even know if this government is willing to stop this level of corruption that we are seeing. So guys, this is the Wike supporter. He was a Wike supporter. Now he supports Fubara. So during his speech, during a rally, he came out to say that we wrote election results in River. That is it, in River State. That's Labour Party won. He opened his mouth. You need to see the video. It was a video, and sorry, I couldn't put it up here. But he said it, you could hear him saying it loud and clear, that he was saying that Wike shouldn't play with them. After all, they are the ones that wrote those results. They know that Labour Party won. They wrote the result. So that is just what we are saying. When INEC give these open doors, to these politicians to come in through the back door, you want to tell me Nigeria can be better, it will be difficult. Nigeria will hardly be better when we have all this going on in the country. So you can imagine when we say that Peter Obi won in that state, in Rivers State, some people think, oh, where is your evidence? It is obvious, even from the IREF, it is clear that the Labour Party won. But because Wike was there to help this current administration, to win, that was why they did everything. They had INEC, they had the security agents and all that, and they were able to do whatever they did during the last election. That is also a lesson to every Nigerian. Please let some of these mistakes not reoccur in subsequent elections, because power belongs to us. No matter how smart these politicians are, we can also outsmart them. This is coming from Ogun State. Like you can see, when we say insecurity, it's everywhere. Look at this man now. He has lost his life, because he was on duty. We've seen this across the nation. So many people, people are just, the life of Nigerians, don't mean anything again at the moment, because we don't have a leadership in place. Let me just quickly take some of these comments and we call it a day. Okay, this person is saying, how can I believe that's APC? How can APC party win Peter Obi's territory? River was won by Peter Obi. Yeah, everybody knows that. Yes, we won in that election. We won. Even Peter Obi won across Nigeria. We saw that Peter Obi got votes that people never believed. Remember, even Soludo from Anambra State didn't even believe Peter Obi was going to go halfway. But at the end of the day, the fight was between Peter Obi and the APC at the tribunal. We all saw that. So it was a very big win for us, the obedient family, and for Nigeria also, if not for what INEC and the judiciary did. Nigeria is not working, period. Call spade is spade. Honestly, the country is something else. You forgot Tinubu said you must grab to succeed in Nigeria. Yes, they said grab it, snatch it, run with it. Power is not served a la carte. Now they have the power. They don't even know what to do with the power, honestly. Look at, there is nothing that is being arrested in Nigeria. Insecurity is like growing every day. You keep asking, these guys in these bushes, are they spirits? Are they spirits? Just one click, you can use technology to track these people. Anywhere they are, you can find them. Where is the political will? You can set, camera everywhere. You can trace these people, their phone numbers. They keep collecting ransom, and the security agents will tell us we can't, the terrain is rough and all that. Nigerians, we have a lot to do, honestly, as a people. And that is why Peter Obi said it's better I stand as an opposition than joining the APC, because it's even obedience that are unraveling some of these things that you are seeing. This corruption of a thing, go to Twitter. It is them that are pushing it until we've seen this government taking some action. If it was then when Nigerians were just sleeping, nothing would have happened. Nothing would have happened. Yeah, as Tinubu got his money back, okay, he spent for the campaign. Yes, you can see many Nigerians feel that all they spent, they've not really recovered them, and that is why we are seeing all these things going on. The terrorism in Nigeria is sponsored by the Nigerian government. People have also said that, you see, insecurity is a big business because it involves a lot. It involves a lot. You just keep wondering if we are even willing to earn it when people are benefiting from it. No leadership in the country, the same APC party government continues. That is it. Just like what I've said, that it's as if the president is not even in the nation, Everywhere is quiet, and these people are on the rampage. Dealing with Nigerians, you go to bed, you can't wake up. Go to all these northern states, they've taken over. And we saw that was even what they wanted to do in the east. We saw it, and that was, why Nigerians are saying that, oh, we can't continue this. If the Easterners has not taken, they took some steps, but they took some steps, to resist these headers from invading the Eastern communities. If they had allowed it, I believe what is happening in the North will be happening also in the East. Not quite long, was it yesterday, we saw a headline that these bandits, they overpowered Amotekun in Ondo State. So you can imagine, they overpowered them because they had more ammunition. Amotekun, I don't even know if they will have, maybe they use stick, or maybe they are just giving some minor ammunition, but they had to overpower them. I mean, the bandits overpowered Amotekun. So where are we heading to, Nigerians? Where are we heading to? No accountability for forged certificates starting from the head. Okay, that is it. Corruption is everywhere, like you can see. Some big shots recommended her, and it's not free. That is it. Tinubu did not wake up one morning and made her a minister. She had to do the dirty job for the big guys to get a cut. That is it. Nigerians, we are yet to have leaders who care about you and I, who are not just there for their own selfish interests. And that is why I keep saying, please, let's keep lending our voices. If Nigerians had kept quiet on this Edu issue, they would have swept it under the carpet. If it was to be now that we had the Minister for Communication who supported the Boko Haram or all these insurgent groups, we all saw him. I don't know if you know him, the former Minister of Communication. He once sympathized with them, and Nigerians were like saying, oh, he should resign, he should resign. Buhari said he was not going to let him go. Some of the Northerners said they were not going to allow Buhari to sack him. And you know what? He served that 8 years. If it was to be now, obedience will not sleep until he's been taken off that position. So you can see that we standing as an opposition is also helping to check the excesses of this government. And like Peter Obi said, if he joins them, that there won't be any healthy democracy if all of us move to the APC. There should be an opposition, and that is what Peter Obi and the Obedient family represent currently. So guys, I must say a very big kudos to you guys, all your efforts, all that you are doing directly, indirectly, to ensure a new Nigeria is bettered. I want to tell you that it's working, and let's keep doing that. We just hope that the next election won't be having the mess we saw during the last election. I think the next call that Nigerians should be making now should be the sack of the INEC chairman. But even if he's being sacked, you know that the president will still put somebody who aligns with whatever his interest is, and that is where we have challenge. We say INEC is independent, but we don't have a real independent INEC. These are some of the challenges, and if we don't fix all these things, we'll keep having setbacks in terms of making Nigeria that promised land we all are hoping to have. So guys, I want to end at this point. I want to appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining me. I don't take your presence for granted. Please help us to like this video so that YouTube can recommend it to more people. Subscribe to the channel. That's how you can support us. And also don't forget to turn on the notification bell, the bell icon that is close to the subscribe button. Just tap on it and it gives you options. You can choose the all so that you get all our updates. I want to say a very big thank you for your presence. You can also buy us a cup of coffee by clicking on the sticker beneath the comment section below. Thank you so much for your time, and let's meet again tomorrow. God bless you and have a good sleep tonight.